morning and welcome to Hello Westchester here on WCHE every Monday from 11:30 to noon. I'm Eric Clambera, joined by Kara Corradoni, publisher of Hello Westchester, which you can subscribe at hellowestchesterva.com. Good morning, Kara. How are you this morning?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a pretty nice day out there.
Yep, so we just had, of course, and we'll touch on this a little bit, the open air market starting this weekend, so starting to feel more like spring heading into summer.
Definitely.
Close enough to Memorial Day, a couple weeks away. So lots of stuff to talk about. As always, the first topic we had for today was Westchester's first pet portrait studio.
Yeah, so it might surprise you a little, didn't me, seeing all the dogs we have out here in Westchester. A lot of people and a lot of their pets. But I got a chance to catch up last week with Westchester photographer Roman Cow. He has a studio here on Gay Street, and he focuses on portraits. But he expanded that earlier this year, and he opened Dubsy Dog Portraits. It's a new venture, and it's really focused on pet photography. So I met him at his studio, and there were really some wowing photos of dogs and a cat or two as well. But it's really kind of looking at, focusing on preserving kind of your pet for eternity. I thought it was an interesting idea, and there's a little research out there, and he's not the only one. According to market research firm Market.us, the global pet photography market size is around 2.4 billion, or is expecting to grow to 2.4 billion by 2034. It is currently just shy of $1 billion last year. So it's a pretty booming market. It's a lot out. There's a lot of demand out there, and Roman has seen that too already early in this venture. But what I kind of had a question, how is this different from you and I shooting your dog with your phone, out playing around. And it really is more than that. This is elevated fine art photography. These images are meant to be printed. They're meant to be framed. He actually encourages clients to come with a position in mind as to where you would like this photo hung in your home. So you kind of have that idea of how big it needs to be. But it's not meant to be left on a disc. It's really kind of... And he works, with the dogs. He works with lighting. He does all the things that he would do to get a brilliant portrait for a person out of the dogs. So he says he's really trying to elevate above, what you see there. He wants these pieces up on the wall. And he does all kinds of styles. There's portraiture, there's action, there's artistic, there's various varieties. You get a 2-hour session. He takes 2 hours with your animal, talks to you through in a pre-consult call what we would like to get from that portrait, where you would want it, indoors, outdoors, studio. And then it kind of gets turned over, and you really leave it to him. And he says he loves the challenge trying to catch that iconic image. And there are some pretty impressive ones, like I said. So, he takes 100 and 150 of the best shots and reviews them, and then really tries to capture the essence of the dog or cat, it's just an interesting subset of art going on now. And he said he's got a lot of clients already coming in, interested people. He's getting requests for other animals as well. And he said more recently he's gotten some horse requests. So he's doing a little research on how to shoot horses. But really a lot of people, too, coming to him that have recently lost a pet and kind of, in hindsight, wishing they had something to remember. He's, like he says, they're trying. His goal is to capture something fleeting forever. So interesting new venture started here on Gay Street. He participated in the gallery walk over the weekend as well, so I don't know if people got a chance to come out and see that, but I just thought it was kind of a cool project and something a little bit different. and not terribly surprising with all the dogs we have here in Westchester.
I was going to say, I can definitely see the market from it. I was just a couple weeks ago at the Brandywine Valley, the SPCA's race, and just the amount of dogs that were there. It's definitely fulfilling a need.
And that was a huge event, too, that I raised quite a bit of money. So
yeah, over 300,000 for that, so it did very well. So the market definitely there, and so the new pet portrait studio in Westchester, and you said Gay Street?
Yeah, it's on Gay Street, Roman Cow, Dubsy Dogs. If you're interested in learning more, just seeing the pictures. You can't see them on radio, so it's kind of hard.
Make sure to check that out. And let's go over to the restaurant reports for April.
Yeah, so the restaurant inspection reports are out for the month of April. Every year, the Chester County Health Department inspects randomly all the institutions serving food in the Westchester area. Actually, all of Chester County, but we only focus on the Westchester area. And really, it's everybody. I once saw a car dealership getting written up for the food they had left out for snacks. So, but this month we had 8, which is not terribly bad. That's actually one of our lighter months I think we've had. But a couple worth pointing out. One of the restaurants that struggled last month was Patelmo's Pizzeria. This is 1530 Paoli Pike. They had 17 violations, including an employee seen touching raw chicken with gloved hands and then ready to eat food without changing or washing their hands. There was water bottles stored under raw beef in the walk-in cooler, cooked chicken, cut tomato, ham, butter, and cheese that was found left out at around 42 to 50 degrees temperature. It should have been at 41 or below. These items were either relocated or discarded. There was also onions left on the floor in the dry storage area. And also found in the dry storage area was moldy and adulterated croutons. Moldy's bad. Adulterated's got me concerned, as it means they were tampered with. I'm not sure exactly what they were tampered with, but I found that a little bit concerning. So little work to be done over there at Patelmo's. So another one out was Qdoba Mexican Eats. This is at 1107 Westchester Pike. They had 9 violations, including employees not following proper food safety protocol. While they were there, I saw an employee answer a cell phone with gloved hands and then return to work without washing those hands. And there was also a litany of cleaning tasks listed within floors, the floor drains, the steel wall below the main hood, glass shields along the service line, the hood filters, the canopy, the soda fountain machine, and the chopper food press. So some work that needs to be done there. Also out last week was the Summit Food Service, which is actually the food service entity that services the Chester County Prison. They had 12 violations, including staff drinking from open beverage containers. They had dishwasher that was not getting dishes hot enough to sanitize them. They had a walk-in refrigerator that was not keeping items cold enough. They found large containers of homestyle ranch stored at room temperature, despite the label saying keep refrigerated. So those were all discarded. There was also fruit flies in the dishwasher and coffee areas, and several cleaning tasks, including removing mouse poop found in the marketplace storage area. So not great there at the prison. A little work to be done. We have, a couple more. So Roots Cafe was out. That's downtown at 133 East Gay Street. They had 10 violations, including house-made pickles, cut lettuce, and cooked potatoes held at 49 to 51 degrees. Those should have been at 41 or below. They also had some dirty ventilation ducts that over the food prep area that was raising concerns of potential contamination. Fortunately, those were cleaned during the inspection, so no longer an issue there. Some floor tiles missing and decaying throughout the kitchen that needed to be replaced. The coffee grinder was observed to have food residue on it, and the rear exit door had a gap, thus not protecting against the entries of insects, rodents, and other animals. That's a dangerous game to play here in the borough, so hopefully they're on getting that fixed. And one more, we'll look at Luke Oil. This is a gas station at 455 Hannum Avenue. They had 10 violations, including no toilet paper in the bathroom or paper towels at any of the sinks. And the employers reported not using approved sanitizers to sanitize dishes during the washing process. They were using Ajax, but that is not approved for commercial use. Without proper sanitation, the gas station was told they could not, they had to discontinue serving all non-prepackaged food. That includes coffee. So if Lukoil is your stop in the morning for your coffee, you may want to make a note of that. Hopefully that's been fixed, or you're going to have to find Plan B.
Right, so the opposite of convenience there. But So that was some of the ones out of compliance, and I know that there were some back in, and of course the 100% Club, which we'll get to in a second. But let's start with who's back in compliance.
Yes, so back in this month, Rolling Star Bagels, ShopRite of Westchester, the CVS in Thornbury, Red Sombrero, Applebee's, Chester County Hospital Main Kitchen area, La Tartine, Bevan's Cold Cuts, the Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Carlino's, Artillery Brewery Company, and Starkweather Elementary School.
So glad to see that they are back in. And then I know that there are, looks like 3 places in the 100% Club.
Yeah, so we created this new category called the 100% Club. This is first inspection, no violations, and it's actually quite difficult, if we've noticed from our first couple months of doing this. So congratulations to the Pocopson Elementary School, 0 violations. Uptown Theater, also 0 violations. And Thomas Patrick Hall over at St. Agnes Church, that's at the school, St. Agnes School, 0 violations.
Yep, so we had a total of 3, as Kara mentioned, Pocopson Elementary School, Uptown Theater, and the Thomas Patrick Hall, so 100% back in.
Yeah, and actually, before we move on, there was another back in that we should highlight, and actually I had it highlighted, which is why I skipped it, but the Hannah Avenue Taco Shop, so Taqueria Los Poblanos, we reported a couple months ago that this taco stand was closed. They were closed in February after a routine inspection had turned up a rodent infestation. It seemed the main point of concern was an rear door that was not closing properly, even when locked. So it led to a disaster, pretty much. But so that shop was closed, but it reopened on April 10th. It passed its opening inspection, only had 2 violations. Neither were that door, so it sounds like the situation over there has been fixed. They're back up and operating. From what I heard, the food is really good there, so if you get a chance, go back and support them now that things are back on track.
Right, so in a much better shape. So that is the Hannah Avenue Taqueria Los Poblanos, so make sure to check that out. And we're at 11:43. Let's take a quick break. On the other side, we had the open air market, some quick updates, as well as looking ahead to some upcoming events. So stick around here, and we will be right back. And welcome back to Hello Westchester. I'm Eric Lambera, joined by Kara Cordoni, publisher of Hello Westchester. You can subscribe at hellowestchesterpa.com. So before we get to some quick updates, let's talk about the Gay Street Open Air Market, so officially open for the 2026 season.
Yes, so on Friday morning, 10 a.m., Westchester Borough held a ribbon cutting on the new Gay Street infrastructure. This includes those bollards that were installed, and they have been installed completely at Church Street and the west side of High Street, and they are currently working on installing them on the east side of High Street as well as at Matlock Avenue. But these are 12-inch round steel posts, and unlike the current cement barriers, they're crash test rated up to stop a 15,000-pound vehicle at driving up to 50 miles per hour. So now that the installed ones roll along a track, so they line up next to the side of the road when the street is open. When the street is closed, they roll easily across and close the street. They do lock into place. Shared a video of the demonstration, and I did get a few questions about that. So they do lock into place so that people are not opening and closing themselves. But they do unlock easily if emergency vehicles need to come by. So nice addition to the Gay Street closure. This project is being paid for by the Chester County Department of Community Development, at least partially through a grant with them and with some leftover ARPA funding. That covers about $1 million of the project. The remaining $837,000 is coming from the borough. They had that ribbon cutting. They're going to continue work on the Gay Street closure as it goes on to the other side, to the east end of the street. I know the closure was marked not only with a ribbon cutting, but there was jitters held there. Now, third annual hot dog eating contest out on the street. There will be looking forward. There will be additional events throughout the summer. Virtual golf is coming back, as is miniature golf in the streets. So a lot of activities to look forward to. I heard there was we were not unfortunately here on Friday, but I heard it was a good turnout and a lot of fun for those who were.
And I did see, as far as you guys covered it for the ceremony from that.
Yeah.
And so that was on your social media, but that was the open air market, so officially open. And I believe, if I remember correctly, it's running through the end of September.
The end of September, that's correct.
The 27th, if I remember correctly. So it's going to be going on every weekend, the Gay Street Open Air Market. And let's go over to quick updates. So what we had first here was Westchester Borough holding night 2 of hearings on the Westchester Master Plan.
Yes. So the conditional use hearings for the master plan, the Borough Council is reviewing the plan in its entirety, and basically the idea here is to give it a big thumbs up or thumbs down. It doesn't actually, approve any individual project within. That would all have to go separately. It's just kind of okaying the framework. On night 2, they did have experts testifying on things such as enrollment and parking. I thought there were some interesting numbers as far as enrollment. I know Westchester University has stated that the goal is to keep enrollment steady, and where increases are expected, they want to focus on grad students. Unfortunately, if you look at the numbers, this is not exactly the case. So what we saw is that Westchester, actually last year, Westchester University welcomed 17,400 students. This is an increase over last year. While it's only a 1% increase in total enrollment, what we're seeing is the new enrollment is coming at the undergraduate level. So last year, Westchester University welcomed 14,657 undergraduates. That's the largest undergraduate class since Westchester University hit its record enrollment in 2020. And it's well below the number of undergrad students admitted in 2022. And that's the year that the student housing protests broke out. And why I think undergraduate enrollment is so important is because of the continued student housing crisis going on in Westchester University. So there are attempts to add more housing. That is all part of this master plan, and that's some of the stuff they're investigating. But, are they adding enough? It will be a while until we see a net increase in the number of units because they are going to currently renovate while adding. So it will be almost 10 years before we see a net in number of student housing. So it is something to watch. Again, those undergraduate numbers are kind of on the rise. So
14,657, which you mentioned last year, which was above the record enrollment in 2020. And so as far as the housing is something to watch for going forward and the master plan, let's go next to a smoothie shop for sale on Facebook Marketplace. Pretty interesting.
Yes. So if you ever had a dream of owning a smoothie shop, now's your opportunity. There's one listed on Facebook Marketplace. You can get it. It's currently on sale. It's 40%.
Yeah, I see it's at $120,000.
Yeah, so it's a marked down. This is over at Westchester Pike.
Yeah, it's next to where, like, the Sports Clips, the European Wax Center. That's just the picture that
it's over, I think there's a Giant in there. It's 1502 Westchester Pike. Yeah, so interesting. If you're interested, fully operational and established smoothie shop. So something to, if that was what a life goal, there you go.
And I'm seeing here, you can send the seller a message, and I've seen a lot of things on there. I've never seen a full business on there. So that's Smoothie Shop for sale in Westchester, $120,000. So if you have a good amount of money lying around, could be a potential investment option. And let's go over next to customers' travel hours for Nido drop.
Yeah, so last Friday, Monkeyfish Toys received a shipment of 1,000 pieces of Nido, and that caught the attention of people far and wide. They had customers drive from all over, including Allentown, Philadelphia, and New Jersey. There was a line down Bradford Plaza, out down the sidewalks there before the store opened, and before the day was out, I think by 2 p.m. I was told, they sold out entirely of all the entire shipment. I did get a chance to talk with Laura Wallace, who owns Monkeyfish Toys, about this trend. It is the toy has been around for a while, but the trend is new, starting late 2025. They really saw the hit starting in January, a big spike. It seems that this increased interest, timed with low availability, has really continued to make it spike. So I did ask if we think this trend is going to continue, or if it's petering out, and she said she does not think it's hit its arc yet. So keep an eye out. If you're interested, if you're in on this Nido trend bandwagon, follow Monkeyfish Toys on Instagram or Facebook. They post their next shipment there. They don't yet know when it is, but they do expect one within the next couple of weeks.
So this is my first time hearing of that. So Nido is a line of squishy sensory toys made by Schilling. So come in a variety of textures and shapes and provide a sensory experience that appeal to many people for stress relief, focus, fun, and collectability. So that is Nido. And let's go over next to Westchester, facing a loss of trees this spring.
Yeah, so some sad news in Westchester Borough tree news. There's been a few. So there was a tree, a cherry tree on West Market Street. This is a street tree, meaning it was planted between the street and the sidewalk in that little strip there. Those are supposed to be taken care of by the borough. So if you have one, do not touch it. The borough will take care of that, the maintenance of that. Unfortunately, this one was not left to the borough, and it was hacked in some particularly bad pruning, meaning that poor tree will never bloom again. So that's a 20-year-old cherry tree, and a sad loss for the borough. That was on West Market Street. Then we also learned a few dozen borough trees, particularly in Hoops and Everhart Park, are dying because of the emerald ash borer. That's an invasive wood-boring beetle native to Asia. So they've been treated, but unfortunately the effectiveness of those treatments is waning. So now it looks like a few dozen ash trees are going to have to be taken down. Fortunately, the borough has been working on replanting new trees. So 96 trees were planted along borough streets and parks just last month. That must have been April.
Right. So unfortunately, though, we did see a few dozen ash trees, as you mentioned, and so some losses there for Westchester trees. And now, speaking of losses, we had Westchester mourning the passing of two people who have left a mark on the borough.
Yeah, so a couple of sad goodbyes last week. One was Barnaby's founder, Michael Gallen. He died suddenly last week. He was 63. He sold his stake in the Westchester location last year, but he was reportedly still active at the Aston location. He lived in Glen Mills and leaves behind his wife, Sharon, 4 children and 2 grandchildren. Barnaby's of Westchester did post after the news stating, "We were deeply saddened by the passing of our founder, Michael Gallen. His vision and dedication built the foundation of everything we do. His impact will not be forgotten."
Yeah, and I know people who worked there personally or maybe knew him, and a lot of tributes and reaction to that over the last week. And then also a former Westchester University economics professor.
Yes, so economics professor Roger Bove, he died last month. He was 87. He was a fixture of Westchester University for 27 years, first as an econometrics professor and later as an active member of the school's faculty union. He landed in Westchester later in life after gaining his PhD at Harvard, teaching stints at Westchester University and the Stevens Institute of Technology. He also worked at the Census Bureau.
So a couple of big losses for the Westchester community in Michael Gellin and as well as Roger Bove, fixtures of the Westchester community. Now, a couple more stories here. We'll go next to Westchester University collecting goods ahead of this weekend's move out. So coming quickly.
Yeah, so on May 9th, more than 5,300 Westchester students are expected to move out for the summer. To help ease that trash burden, they have partnered with Goodwill donations this year. So donation bins have been placed around the campus. You can find those at Sykes Student Union, the FHG Library, the Student Recreation Center, and on campus at all residence halls and the universities and complexes. So students are encouraged to donate usable items they no longer need.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely because you do have a lot of things, speaking from experience, that you don't need when you're moving off of campus, so a great opportunity, and it goes to a good cause with Goodwill. And then thoughts on composting? Westchester wants to know.
Yes, so the Westchester Borough Sustainability Advisory Committee is in the process of exploring the viability of a food composting program in the borough, but part of this is getting a handle of need and demand and interest. So if you think this is kind of a cool idea, you can share your thoughts at a they have a survey you can take. I have a direct link in the newsletter. I'm sure it's available at Westchester Borough website too.
Yep. So that's, you mentioned there with composting, so looking for feedback. And then the closing minutes, I know we had some things going on. Of course, last day of spring semester classes for Westchester, and a lot more coming up within the next week.
Yes, so last day of spring semesters today. Cinco de Mayo's day tomorrow. Check out, we were just saying, Moss has big celebrations. Barnaby's does too. I'm sure plenty of others. Also this week is the Barnaleaf Special Camp 5K. That's taking place on Thursday. So that's at 6. It's in the evening. Mm-hmm. And then we have Westchester commencement ceremonies this weekend. And Mother's Day is on Sunday. So lots going on. We have a new events only newsletter that's launching on Wednesday. So if you want a better idea of what's going on to plan ahead, look for that.
So will that be like your Facebook page, like ways that people can check it out, or?
We'll share it this week on the Facebook page. We'll also email it to all subscribers. So yeah.
Make sure to stay tuned for that. So of course, always a lot of great events coming up as we head into the summer here as well. So we are at the end of the show. Thank you, Kara. As always, you can catch the newsletter, hellowestchesterba.com, and the podcast on 95.3 WCAG.com, and we'll talk to you next time.